Hi, here we are, Mom Proof.
What's
Hello,
up?
hello.
Hello.
Yo.
It's Mom Proof with a very special guest today. We're super excited. Rich Haines with Red Kite. Nice to have you.
It's very nice to be here. Thank you.
This
Mhm.
is Mom Proof. We're all about being comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Very good.
That's how it all started,
Yep.
hence the teenagers.
Right.
So as moms, we've been trying to share with other parents how they can get through some of the tough times. The most recent tough time for us was getting our kids off to college.
Sure.
And that senior year was something we thought we were prepared for. But are you ever all the way prepared in parenting?
No, I don't think so, but I think it's, if you just gain some confidence as you try to become more and more prepared, you never quite get all the way there, right?
Yeah.
You're exactly
I'm
right.
going to say, if someone does, can you please write
Yeah,
it
yeah.
down?
That's
Yeah.
a whole nother
I was gonna
podcast.
say.
That's another
'Cause then
podcast
we're not going to
altogether.
be uncomfortable
No, we're
anymore.
going to be the geniuses with all the answers.
Right.
Huh.
So, with nuggets to share, I feel like this one is a great one because kids now in their senior year are applying for college. So, I'm just going to ask you to explain to us what Red Kite is. I was super excited about this at just the notion of hearing about scholarships
Yeah.
that we could share with other parents because I certainly didn't have anything like this. So, I'm
Not at
really
all.
excited about this.
Yeah, so we were talking a little bit beforehand. The guys and women who founded Red Kite a lot of us started in banking. So one of the first things we saw was a lot of the student debt, the debt that students were taking on to go to college. And we said, how could we solve that problem? What can we do to make things easier? When you think about going to college and you think about financial aid, it is right up there with taxes as one of the most stressful times and the most stressful thing you have to do, but you have to do it, right? So we came together, we founded Red Kite, we built a team. A lot of the folks on our team are ex-financial aid officers in colleges and in high school. So they know
Wow,
exactly
Really key.
how to get through the process and how to help students and parents navigate. And we started off by saying, how did we reach out to students and parents? We did a focus group for about a year, talked to students, parents, counselors, teachers. What's important? How does this work? And what kind of things should we build? And I think, as you might have mentioned, we now have $20 billion of financial aid. None of those are loans; those are all scholarships, grants,
Wait, can we
fellowships.
just
I
hang
know.
on
It's,
that
yeah,
for
that's
just a minute?
I mean, I can say that over and over for
I-
10
I-
years.
it's that's just
Hashtag
so,
20 billion.
It's such
Yeah.
an exorbitant number.
Yeah.
And I don't think probably a quarter of the parents out there that are sending their kids to school are aware that there is that much opportunity to help get your kids' college paid for. Did you know
No, but
that?
that's
$20
what
million.
that's
Bill,
what
you said
I was
B, right?
B.
B.
before we started. I was saying that many people don't even bother to look, or they don't know where to look, or they feel like they don't qualify because they're not in sports or they're not top of their class. But I guess that's not the case. That's a misconception.
It is. And, we've all heard that there's scholarships for merit-based and for needs-based. Needs-based is I don't have a lot of money and I need some help, and that's great. Merit-based is the sports player, the GPA. But what people don't realize is there's another category altogether, and we just call it other because it's neither one of those
It's
two.
very creative.
Okay,
I
that's
know.
so nice. You don't have
So-
to worry about being politically correct
No,
or
right.
anything. You could just
And
other.
so we
Thank you,
copyrighted
Jesus.
other. Nobody else can use that.
Okay.
But what's interesting
Genius
is, and
again.
I'll share two scholarships with you that are just they're interesting and funny, but it'll show you what's out there. There is a $7,500 scholarship for the man or woman who can make their prom suit or dress 100% out of duct tape,
Oh my gosh.
and you should
Don't you know there's
see-
Okay,
kids that are
It's
waiting for
happening
that?
right now.
See.
The duct tape sales just went up.
Oh.
Soon as this aired, there.
And you know what? It's not some simple. I mean, people
No,
go
it's
all
not
out
simple.
at trains, and it's just amazing.
Wow, that's so cool.
And then there's one that people really love where the whole scholarship is an essay, which people don't like, but this essay is, tell me how you would survive a zombie apocalypse. That's the whole scholarship.
Beautiful.
Wow.
You
And
tease about
people
that
get
topic.
creative.
That's
Really. I
fun.
mean, you read them and
Do
you're
you
like, "Wow."
guys then? Okay, wait. Of course, you're not doing the scoring.
No,
of
no,
these
no.
things. You're
Yeah.
the hub that creates a portal to
Right.
the experience. We're finding these opportunities.
That's exactly right. And the reason we focus sometimes on those is part of our job, we believe, is to just bring awareness to the process and the fact that there are other scholarships out there. And these people love to hear about. They're like, wow, duct tape, maybe. And then it's funny because everyone will click on those too, right? Well,
Yeah. Those are the most hit.
Yeah.
Now, I do have a quick question. So if somebody goes to your site and then they can just kind of stroll through and look at what's available, but then is there a process where they sign up for Red Kite that you guys walk them through? Is there a fee?
So let's start with no, there's no fee.
Okay.
Students and parents can use the site for free. It's really the colleges and universities and all the back end folks that pay for the site. One of the things we heard in our focus groups is a lot of sites, and I think you'll relate to it. Give me your email right now, and then you can look at my site.
Oh, hate it.
We let people look around, let them play around, make sure it's a good fit for you, and then we'll ask you to sign up and create an account because then you can start favoriting scholarships and adding them to your queue.
Okay.
The system will send you text message reminders about deadlines, about things you need to complete. So that's once we want to gain your trust, and once we gain your trust, then we ask you to create an account. And still, you can do that if you want. You don't have to.
Okay.
How is it different than College Board, but College Board offers inside their site where the kids can look through and navigate, various universities, et cetera,
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities, I think, in some of the functionality. College Board is a big organization, and they do everything from SATs to colleges to prep to. We think the problem of finding money for college and bridging the gap to college is its own problem. So we chose to focus on that.
That's great.
And we focus on 4-year colleges and 2-year colleges, but we also help anyone who's looking for job training programs. So we just recently added,
That's
if college isn't
genius
for
right
you,
there, y'all.
HVAC, cybersecurity, whatever you're looking for, we'll help you find money for college. So the biggest difference is we've chosen to focus on the financial aid piece. Once you find your college, and maybe you're still considering 3 or 4, that's okay too. You're able to compare them on RedKite as far as where the financial aid will work and where it won't.
Oh, okay.
This sounds a lot like, so I have 6 kids. My oldest is 36, and he was on The Walking Dead, by the way. So I feel like
But
he
he
could
said
have
zombie
won
apocalypse. I'm
that
like, come on.
essay.
I know. right there.
But he's an actor. College was definitely not for him.
Okay.
But I
He
did a lot.
finished.
He did
He
finish.
finished.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how long it takes you. That's irrelevant. He's awesome. Austin, I love you. This reminds me of when my kids were going to school. I actually, for the first one, I hired someone. I went out and found
Yes.
a college counselor
Yep.
that was outside of the school that I
Absolutely.
found find these
It's a
things.
big business right now.
Yeah, and you
Mhm.
pay,
Mhm.
$6,000 or $8,000 to go do that, and
Yep.
they may find you 1 or 2 scholarships and figure out what college to go to.
Sure. What your specialty is going to be, how to,
But
yeah.
this
this
is
is-
just, and it's really free, Rich. These kids can get on and look all over.
Yes, you
It's
can.
just shopping.
You sign up for an account. Not only look all over, but the more you tell us about you, the more we'll refine the list that we show you.
Oh my
So
gosh. So it's,
you,
what's that called? An algorithm?
yeah, there's a little bit of machine learning
Look
in there,
at me.
Ding, 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 we are not over 50.
right? We have tech scholarships too.
Is there an age limit? Though?
Yes.
no.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that. Go ahead.
No. The interesting thing is just we don't want to give you a list of 400 scholarships to look through. Like 20 billion, there's a good side and a bad side to that. Like, wow, 20 billion, that's great.
That's a lot.
But my gosh, I don't want to look through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So what we're
So
trying to do is
hence
give you
tax
20
time.
to look through. What are the ones that make sense for you to look at personally?
Right. So you filter. You have filters.
That's very cool.
So could I keep applying and just cover my whole cost of college for 4 years?
Yeah, what we always recommend is do the free application for federal student aid, the
I was
FAFSA.
going to ask you, I was like, that was a nightmare.
Yes.
Is there anything, you guys help with FAFSA at all? And is that an opt out at this point?
We do, and
Do
we
you have
have
to fill it out to be on your site?
You don't have to fill out the FAFSA to use RedKite, but I would still tell you almost every college uses it to allocate their internal funds.
All right.
Do the FAFSA.
That's good to
That
know.
is good
Actually, I don't think we were going to get a diploma if we didn't do
Oh,
that.
they forced us.
Weren't they that
They were
serious?
that
high
strict.
school,
Okay.
they were
Yes.
Well,
like
you know what? That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think.
It
Yes.
should. It's not
Yeah.
an easy application. Now, in a second, we can talk about some of the changes the Department of Ed is about to
Oh,
make.
that'd be awesome.
But I would do it always do your FAFSA. It's really important because at the end of the day, there is money that the school will award you based on that.
Okay.
And if you do have to take a loan, and we always encourage you take the loan last, take the free money first. The government will subsidize interest, so use that loan
Oh,
first
look at
That is
that.
very good
for those
advice.
that apply. Yeah.
Take the loan last.
Yeah, totally. And free money first.
Yeah.
Sounds like a no-brainer, right? But it's good to remind people.
Yeah.
One of the things we tell people is just take the right money in the right order. Does it fit for you? And then take it's free money first, cheap money second,
Oh, good.
and then at the end, if you're faced with I need a $3,000 loan or not go to college, then take the loan. But if you're taking a $25,000, $30,000, $40,000 loan every year, that's hard.
That's painful.
It's
Yeah.
hard.
How
Is it-
many kids have you awarded scholarships to?
Well, we don't actually award them, but
Well,
we've
oh, that's right.
processed.
Pardon me.
We have about 400,000 students using the platform in the last 4 or 5 years,
Mhm.
and about a third of them have reported back that they've gotten something.
That's
So
That
fabulous.
is fantastic.
And now FAFSA, they've moved the date for that, correct?
So the Department of Ed has undertaken a pretty ambitious project where they're changing the application. We hear it's simpler. We hear that it's going to be a lot better functionality. It's due to roll out on the 31st,
Of-
December 31st.
Thank you.
So be aware for that. It's normally in October. The department's a little bit
Mhm.
behind on it. The window's going to be a little tighter this year. So a lot of times, a lot of the questions we get is, what are critical dates? What should I be looking for next?
Critical dates.
This is the first critical date.
Yeah.
I know it's New Year's Eve, but maybe it's first thing January
That is
1.
it.
Yeah.
Parents,
the
December
FAFSA.
31st. That's the date.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. What other dates should we be talking about right now that are really important?
Yeah, I think as the next semester unfolds, you're going to have the FAFSA on the 31st. Sometime in January, usually around the 15th or the 30th, and sometimes that's moved because this date has moved. But a lot of colleges will have what they have kind of early submission.
Oh,
So
yeah.
get the application in as quickly as you can. Earlier is always better. And then a few weeks
For the
after
scholarship or for the application to college?
that, both.
Okay.
Well, for all of the above,
Just-
but
yeah.
the FAFSA too.
Okay. Yeah. Just get things in.
I think
on-
by now applications are in. For
I
the
was
most
going to say
part.
most kids I know of that are
Yeah.
seniors, or excuse me, even some juniors, but mainly seniors, are getting the answers they
Yeah.
either want or don't want right now.
And then if you want to check out on myredkite.com, we have a calendar that kind of goes through your junior year and your
That's
senior year
nice. Ooh.
to say, here are things you should look at and here are things you should watch.
That piece is just really supportive for parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could actually be just in one place. If you're finished with College Board, you could switch over to Red Kite and really focus on that and look for those
Yes.
scholarships.
Is it just for undergrad, Rich?
No, graduate students, we have doctorate
that
students,
was
there's
what-
international students. So
Interesting.
the bulk of financial aid is focused on undergrad,
Okay.
but there is financial aid for every level and almost everything you can think of. It really is amazing.
Cannot wait to scour this
This
site
seems like
deeply.
such an obvious thing to
I
do.
know.
Why wouldn't any parent or student want to go this route?
Yeah. What's
Because
the
I
barrier?
don't think there's
Yeah.
anything quite like you. I mean, I know of a book, and I'm sure we've talked about this before. My boyfriend brought it home, and it was like this thick. And it was written by 2 Harvard students on scholarships. And it was how they put themselves both through Harvard finding scholarships. But it's a book. I opened that thing and I thought,
Yeah, I'm not doing it. Yeah.
It's why wouldn't everyone use it? I don't know. Everybody should use it. I think the challenge is that if you do a Google search for scholarships, you're going to get like
Oh.
60 billion hits, right? It becomes so overwhelming and people don't know where to go. Counselors oftentimes will have a short list of places to go, but they're not really sure if those are the right ones. And really the benefit to, Red Kite and how we try to structure it is there's a lot of large scholarships. I'll use, HEB.com, right?
Yeah.
The HEB has a scholarship and it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
But 10,000 people apply for it, right? And they award a lot. And, by all means, if it's a good fit for you, apply for the HEB scholarship.
Mhm.
But down the road, there's the Rich Haines scholarship that he left and no one applies for, or one person a year applies for.
And they get it.
Yeah.
and how do you know about that?
It's
Red
very
Kite,
hard. Yeah.
right?
That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
So how do you find all the folks that want to give scholarships?
Yeah,
I know
totally.
I have a little organization and I give little grants out. I don't even know how I would connect with you
Yeah.
to say,
It's it's a difficult process, and I think we were talking beforehand. We go out and through word of mouth, through counselors and high school lists, colleges list, on college websites. We scrape data. We search through the internet. We use AI to go and look for new scholarships. So it's a massive process of trying to find them. But we look at it as every time we find a smaller scholarship, maybe that isn't well known, that is almost certainly going to send somebody to college.
Right.
So that's kind
Oh,
of the
that's
motivation
so
behind it.
awesome.
I mean,
Yeah.
I wonder if if our young people knew about it, it's so modernized, like there would be a
They
more
might actually be excited about it.
to
Like,
go
hey,
search
dude, I was
into
on
it.
Red Kite. What'd you
Yeah,
find?
what'd you get? I found this one on duct tape, or I'm sure now that's of course going to be the ones we go look at. You know
Right,
what
right.
it is. I
We
know.
just got 1,000 hits on that sky.
You heard it here first.
Tell us
though.
something else.
Yeah. So how did you find going to college? Was this something like that it motivates you because you think, hey man, I struggled like that, or it may not even be a connection for you, but you just enjoy the process of helping people?
Yeah, I would say I'm gonna date myself when I say that I didn't have a red kite. I went to the library and flipped through the books and cross-referenced
Yeah.
the scholarships, right?
Microfiche?
Yeah,
Anybody?
yeah, that's exactly right. I was fortunate in that I had a few people that advised me well and really, gave me a little kick when I needed it, kick in the behind when I really needed it. And uh, in a way, this is our kind of our pay it forward. Somebody
Cool.
helped me, so how can I help other people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neat. Because the banking industry, obviously, I mean, if you have that as your background, gives you the money sense,
Yeah.
but the compassion piece is not necessarily married with that. So that's neat.
Yeah,
That's
it's
cool that
when
you're
we can, we want to build a good company and we want to, provide a really good service. But when and people write you emails and letters,
oh,
thank you so much, you helped me go to college.
that's
It's a
it.
win-win-win. Just so
Mm.
good. Such a good feeling.
So how does Red Kite benefit though? How
Yeah,
does
that's good.
how do you
Yeah.
benefit as a company? Because obviously you've got these
Yeah,
people
sure.
working. How are you getting revenues to staff everyone and get apps aren't cheap and
Yeah, yeah.
marketing's not cheap.
No, it's a great question. So we really go out to the colleges, the universities, the sponsors of the scholarships, the donors, everybody who belongs to Red Kite pays to be there. Then it's a supply and demand problem. It's really that simple in our mind. The demand is I want money for college.
Yeah.
The supply is I have it,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and I want people to find it. So we just connect those two,
Okay.
and then that's really the revenue side of the business, and that's how we're able to offer the Red Kite for free.
That to me, I mean, that piece for free. Because when do you ever hear anything to
Yeah.
get college support, essay writing, knowing where to apply? Everything has the $7,000, $8,000,
Right.
Mhm.
piece. So that just sounds so beautiful.
And we often get asked, well, hey, have you thought about doing this? Or have you thought about doing this? And one of the things that always comes up is, have you thought about helping pre-fill that FAFSA application? Well, we have thought of that. And, we may have an announcement early next year.
Drum roll. I've got a kid graduating in 25. Perfect timing.
But you're right.
Ready.
Some of you mentioned counselors that were, $6,000, $7,000.
Oh,
There are people who pay $1,000 just to help get your FAFSA filled out,
Oh,
which,
that's a mugging.
a lot of
That's
people can't
not
afford that.
fair.
A lot
I
of
know, it's
people
not
don't have
fair.
access to that. So how can we help everybody?
That's
Yeah.
That's neat. That
so
levels
where
the
do you
playing
see
ground.
yourself 5 or 10 years from now?
Good one.
With a second kid.
Yay, congratulations.
Yeah.
We got one on the way. Not we.
Uh,
Sorry. Rich has one on the way with his
Separate,
wife.
two separate.
Sorry, Gary.
That is super exciting.
No,
Little
it's,
kids, I love babies. Kids, my
yes.
kids. I need
Can't
another
can't
grandkid.
wait. Can't wait.
Aw.
I think we would like to be a nationally recognized brand for financial aid. When people talk about financial aid,
Yeah.
they say it's Red Kite. That's where to
Yeah.
go. That's what you want to do.
What about the name Red Kite? We needed to ask you, and we were talking in the car, and we go, "Don't ask him." Or was that right before this? My time
Yes.
warp is
No,
off.
it's your
Time warp.
It's the same day.
So a lot of more creative people than I am. I do not have that agency creative side to me. We were kicking around a lot of things, and one of the things we wanted to really bring across was this is a stressful, tough situation. How do we make it uplifting? And the more and more you think of a kite, it's always up and to the right.
Yeah.
It's always rising, maybe at a beach. You're always running. You're never sad with a kite. So
That's
it was just
Oh,
perfect.
I just love it a little more right now.
I know. I want to go fly a kite.
Yeah. We can go out in the parking lot right
That's
now.
right now. It's actually kind of gusty out.
I have 800 red kites in my trunk.
Do you?
Wow.
Okay.
That is awesome.
That is awesome. What have we not asked you? And I know we're probably at a point we might need to wrap, but what have we not asked that we should have asked to make sure we grab all
Yeah,
the goods from you right now?
The advice that I would give is you got to spend some time and do a little research and ask everyone you can think of. Ask your counselor, ask your anyone in the high school. Look at the, PTA organizations or college organizations. Check everywhere. Check your employer. If you work for HEB or Dell or Tesla, they all have programs to help you in college. It is not an easy process. We won't make it easy, but we'll make it easier. But it still takes some time. Work with your parent. Parents work with your kids and sit down and just take the time to do the research and fill things out together, because it can make all the difference in the world. And the people that we see, unfortunately, that wound up not going to college, they don't go because they can't find $20,000. They don't go because they can't find $4,000. And that's really what we
That
want.
is so disheartening to hear that.
And a lot of times we get asked, how do I make my essay or my application stand out? And our advice there is try to find a way to be yourself. I mean, remember, the person reading it is trying to learn you and get to know your personality through a paper, and that's hard to do.
Yeah.
So talk about everything you've done, not just senior year, junior year, sophomore year, 5 years ago, if that matters, and why it was important to you, and what did it make you feel, and how did it change your life? And sometimes that's a little personal, and sometimes people say, no, it needs to be professional.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it has to be professional, but it also you need to find a way to,
Mhm.
segment yourself from all the other ones they're reading, which there's a
Differentiate.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And they all
exciting.
matter. Every one of them does. I think
does.
that's important to remind our kids that you are unique and you need to just keep doing you, be
Mhm.
yourself,
Yeah. Yeah.
hang in there, and not to give up. I think
I
this
love it.
gives
I know.
really hope in a place
Mhm.
for kids to just know there is something else out there. So let's spread that word. Let's
And
really
some
make sure.
agency, which you had said earlier, just that you don't have agency on your creativity, but just the agency to know, like, the application process doesn't have to be that daunting. I mean, you're writing an essay to get to college. Maybe that could cross over into being an essay that helps you get financial aid or scholarship, I should say, for college. I mean, it's great. The kids are learning how to do stuff for themselves.
Yeah, and
Getting
a lot of the colleges right now are doing videos on FAFSA on how to fill out the applications, changes.
Good one.
So, like, maybe check on YouTube too for that,
Good
because I've
point.
seen that coming through.
That's great.
And that being said, is Red Kite planning on doing any like educational videos, kind of to promote and get kids started on the right path? Or
Yeah, I mean, the short answer is yes. I think we're kind of waiting, as is everybody, to see what does it look like,
Yeah.
because it's not out yet, right?
right.
We will do that. I think the first month, the month of January, is going to be a little chaotic because everyone has to get it done, and then all the schools have to process them. The counselors in the high schools have to help. And what usually happens October, November, December, January is now happening January.
Yeah.
March.
So
Or they have to get it done in January.
there's a lot of schools are extending it a little bit of time, but I think
Oh, my
the advice and the takeaway is just get it done quickly so that you're in the queue.
Yeah.
That's good
be
to
in the
know.
queue, baby.
And if you're not a senior, let's just say you're a freshman in college, can you apply for these scholarships all year, or are there certain times? So my daughter can just click on now, because as soon as I get home, I'm
I
going to let her
know.
know that
All
I
our
don't know how
daughters
you're
are
paying
freshmen
for
in
that
college.
second semester, but I got an idea. So, but freshmen, they can apply all year long, or sophomores or juniors. It's not as strict as the beginning of finding
No,
your
there-
university and your path.
Yeah, there's a seasonality to it. I mean, certainly
Okay.
in the fall and the spring, there's more deadlines, but there are deadlines all throughout the year, and a lot of times you can apply early. So just find the scholarships that fit you, and then queue that up to look every semester.
Right.
I'm gonna check back at Red Kite, every semester to see when the new one's being offered.
That's really really a great
That is
tip.
great. Oh my
Mm.
gosh.
I know.
Rich, this has been really wonderful.
Yeah.
Who knew that talking about scholarships could be so exciting?
Yeah, that's right.
But it is. If you're a
It
parent
is.
of a teenager and or a baby that's going to be a teenager at some point,
Yes.
you know there's some additional help out there.
That's
So
awesome.
thank you very much for taking the time to come and visit with us. We
Absolutely,
really
my
appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Yeah, very
Again,
enlightening.
it's
Thanks.
being comfortable with uncomfortable,
Yep.
as is college apps.
Yeah.
So as are.
And
So-
we'll put the website on the video too and on our site so that
absolutely. Let's
Mhm.
share.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's beautiful.
Well, thank
Thank you again.
Thanks.
Thank you for your time.